morning to one and all present here. This is nervous system part 2, and friends, the points to focus in this video is, first of all, as I've told you earlier when I was discussing nervous system part 1, that in nervous system part 2 I will take the study of neuron and structural components. First is, what is neurons? Components of neurons: impulse, synapse, nerves. Further on, if I move, types of nerves, sensory nerves, motor nerves, mixed nerves, and one more important thing is added: cranial nerves and spinal nerves. So first of all, we will discuss about this. What is a neuron? So let's move to the next frame, as we will do all these study in the form of a diagram. Yeah, done. This is the complete diagram of neuron or nerve cell. Neuron is also known as a nerve cell. So first of all, you should know what is a neuron. A neuron is the basic structural functional unit of nervous system. Every system you will study, so there is one component which is its essential unit. So in this nervous system, the essential unit is your neuron. The essential unit is your neuron. It is also the longest cell in the body. The function of neuron is that it receives and transfers messages to all the parts of the body. In human body, on an estimated around 100 billion neurons are found, and these are some facts which you have to learn. So now, then the second point is its components. Neuron has certain components like your cell body, nucleus, axon, and there are further more that we will discuss. So let's me zoom this diagram. So you can see the central portion. This is known as your nucleus, and this much area which is there, it is known as the cell body or chitin. Inside the cell body or chitin, at the central part, we have the nucleus. Now you will see that over here. Yes, you will see over here certain fibers are there. These fibers are known as dendrites. Now, how these dendrites arise? First of all, before the formation of dendrites, one more small fibers are there which are known as dendrons, and dendrites are their branches. Dendrons further divide into smaller branches known as your dendrites. Then let us have a visit of this structure. Now this you are seeing axon. What is axon? Axon is a single long fiber coming from the other side of the cell body. You can see that it is coming from the other side of the cell body. Axon is covered by sheath, means it has its protecting covering known as the myelin sheath. Axon is an important part of neuron. It carries messages from the cell body of one neuron to another. Now let us move further, and these are the axon endings. And this is the muscle. I have also talked about impulse. See, messages travel along through the nerve cells or neurons in the form of a wave of a chemical substance which is known as your impulse. An impulse is also like an electrical signal. Your impulse is also like an electrical signal. Now we will discuss about synapse. Let's move. The structure you can see. This is synapse. This is synapse. So in synapse also you will find some common components which we have seen in the diagram of neuron. That is your dendron, your dendrite, your muscle, and nerve muscle junction is already there. Synapse between neurons and axon. This is not axon, this is axon preceding neuron. Is axon preceding neuron. So now let me discuss about synapse. See, neurons are not in close contact with each other, so must be having a question that they transfer also messages, they receives also messages, but without any communication. How this happens? This happens through synapse, in which the axon terminal of one dendron lies in which the axon terminal of one neuron lies very close to the dendrite of another neuron, in which the axon terminal of one neuron lies very close to the dendrite of another neuron. So this is about synapse. Synapse, you can see over here, synapse between neurons. This synapse only helps in the communication between two neurons. Now let us go to the next frame, in which we will do the study of nerves. This is your nerve. This is your nerve. This is the structure of a nerve. Now, how nerves are formed? When one or two nerve cells or neurons they join from end to end, they form the structure of nerve. Let me give you introduction. This is a nerve fiber, nerve fibers, bundle of nerve fibers, sheath of insulating material. Nerves are basically cord-like structures which have many nerve fibers bundled together like the strands of a telephone. Fine. So this was all about your neuron, synapse, and your nerve. Now I will discuss about types of nerves. For that I have to go to my first frame. This was my first frame. See, you can see that I have written types of nerves. So the first nerve which we will discuss is your sensory nerve. So sensory nerves, from the word sensory you can little bit have a link that the topic is connected to the sense organ. So in sensory nerve what happens, that these nerves carry messages from the sense organs to the brain or the spinal cord. They consist of sensory fibers. For example, an optic nerve which arises from the brain and leads to the from the eye. Sorry, the optic nerve which arises from the eye and leads to the brain, which transfers messages to the brain. And brain's nerve is known as what? That is a sensory nerve. So you can see that optic nerve is an example of sensory nerve. Why? Because it is carrying messages from eye, which is a sense organ, to the brain. And then your motor nerves. If I discuss about motor nerves carries messages from the brain and the spinal cord in the form of some responses to the body parts, such as your muscles and your glands, They consist of motor fibers. For example, the nerve arising from the brain and leading to the muscle of an eyeball. Mixed nerve, if I talk about, so mixed nerves consist of both sensory and motor nerves. That is why they are known as mixed nerve. They carry electrical impulses from the central nervous system to the muscles of the body, and it also since it is a mixture of both sensory and motor nerves, so it also consists of both sensory fibers and motor fibers. For example, the nerve which sends messages to the tongue. Now these nerves are classified on the direction in which the nerve transmits an impulse, but on the basis from where the nerves arise, there are two types of nerves. These are your cranial nerves and your spinal nerves. Cranial nerves are basically those type of nerves which arise from the brain and leading to the organs in the head region. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Spinal nerves are those nerves which arise from the spinal cord and leading to the various parts of the body. There are around 32 pairs of spinal nerves. So with this, friends, nervous system part 2 is finished. In this we have done a deep study about nerve cells, synapse, neurons, and everything which is connected to neurons. In the next study, first of all, we will discuss about various types of nervous systems. Then we will discuss about spinal cord, reflex action, how the process takes place, and then further on we will do about the organs, your means your sense organs, and the study about stimulus and your receptor. By the time, thank you, have a nice day, take care and be safe.